Hey, how's it going? So I want you guys to take a look at this thing for a sec. You obviously know what it is because you're on this page, which means you're either a football player, a parent of a football player, or a coach. You might even be a coach. Think about this, all right? I'm going to give you a little something to think about, a little homework, I guess you can call it. When you look at football, when you look at one of these things, what comes to your mind? What do you think about? What does this represent in your head? I'm going to tell you what I see, and maybe we're on the same page, hopefully. The first thing I see is an emotional attachment to this thing. Football's a very emotional game, and if you don't get emotional when you play football, then you shouldn't be playing, because there's just something about it that gets teams and coaches and parents fired up, right? There's just something about the game, whether it's the teamwork that goes into it, the heart and soul that goes into practices, the underdog coming out on top and beating that big bad team that they could never beat. Very emotional. The second thing I think of is the physical aspect. Size, speed, strength, endurance, agility. General performance. Performance as a whole. Okay? The majority of the time, the team who has the better performance as a whole, as a team, the stronger team, the faster team, the bigger team, they usually come out on top. Usually, not all the time. There is an exception. And that's the third thing I'm going to talk about. The third thing is the mental aspect of the game. I don't care if you have the biggest, baddest team on the block, or in the county, or whatever. If there's another team that's a little smaller than you, maybe a little slower, but they play with more heart, there's a chance you might lose. It's been known to happen. The reason why I bring these three things up is because when it comes to high school football, usually individual players have some of those things, but not all. Sometimes there's guys who are just naturally gifted athletes. They're big, strong, they're fast, but they lack the mental aspect, the mental toughness, because they're gifted athletes, right? They're a step faster than everybody else. They hit harder than everybody else. Sometimes their mindset isn't right. Then you get the guys who are a step too slow, a couple inches too short, not strong enough, but they are busting their butt in the gym and doing practice because they want their shot in the game. Do they get it? Most of the time they don't, because their performance lacks. The one thing that most athletes do have when they play the sport is the emotional aspect, and that's because they like to play, and that feeds their emotions. So very often you see guys who have two of the three things, but not all three. Very, very, very rarely do you see a guy who's on point with his training, with his mentality, and with his emotional attachment to the game. By this point, you're probably wondering who the heck I am. My name is Coach Christopher Lopez. I run the Jersey Strong football program here at the Jersey Strength Gym coaching facility in Jackson, New Jersey. The reason behind the Jersey Strong football program is to get athletes on the same page with those three things I just talked to you about. The emotional aspect, the mental aspect, and the physical performance aspect. The easiest and most effective and quickest way to do this is to train guys as a team. Bring them in here as a team. Train them together. They win battles in here together. They lose battles in here together. The workouts are not easy, but they're a mental challenge, they're a physical challenge, and there will be football specific. That's the reason why we do them. To make guys more explosive on the field, quicker, build mass, build strength, keep their athleticism up, and keep their mental toughness through the roof. A lot of the training methods we use here are very unorthodox. chances are you may not have seen anything like this before, because of the very traditional way that high schools train their athletes, especially football players. They tend to hit the weight room, do typical masking programming, which will work for gaining size. But at the same time, in my experience, it's been noticed that when guys just are on a size and mass gaining routine, they become a little slower. Their athleticism might go down a little bit because their body's not used to carrying that extra weight. So we hit on all three of the things. We hit on strength, size, agility. To make sure that when the players are in bed the night before thinking about the game, and trust me, I know this happens because when I played football it was the same way. Thinking about the game, that they knew that they did everything in their power that week. They left everything on the practice field. They left everything here in the gym. This way there's no question, there's no doubt in their mind about themselves or about their teammates. When players get to that level, that's when they win. When players get to that level, that's when they have the confidence to go out on the practice field and outwork that guy who's had that starting position for the past year or two. It's been known to happen. So, take this as my personal invitation to you for the 6-week Beast Camp that we're going to be running here right after football season, high school football season ends. 6 weeks, we teach the guys, and we start from the very beginning. So if they're doing things wrong now in the weight room, we correct all that, okay? We don't just keep piling on to bad form. We correct everything. If they're doing bad form on certain exercises, we shoot them back, correct it, and then we advance, okay? But we teach them proper strength progression, training for size, how to keep their agility and their athleticism up. We cover strategically placed conditioning to help guys really hone their mental toughness, which is going to translate into their games come next season. And the last thing that we cover, which might be the most important thing, is injury prevention. A lot of coaches overlook that in every sport. And the truth of the matter is, when you're in high school, you get 4 years to be either a legend or just another name on an old high school football roster. That's just the truth. 3 years, if you don't count the first year, where most guys who have never played before are learning the game, their freshman year. So if you count that year, and if you've never played before, you get 3 years to prove yourself. And if you get injured during those 3 years, 4 years, you might be done for the season. You might be done for the rest of your years in high school. And if the injury is bad enough, you might not be playing in college. So the fact that we don't overlook injury prevention is huge. Okay? So again, my personal invitation to you to enroll in the 6-week Beast Camp. All of the information is down below. Just scroll down. If you have any questions about the camp or about enrolling or the times or anything, feel free to give me a call. I'll give you my number. It's 609-200-1702. Or you can email me at cjlopez@jerseystrongfootball.com. Okay, I'll put that information below as well. But again, the sooner you get on point with the emotional, physical, and mental aspects of the game, the sooner you're going to be a force to be reckoned with, the sooner you can earn that spot on the starting lineup. If you're outperforming the other guys on the team, and you are mentally tougher than the other guys on the team because you worked for it, there's not a coach in the world that can deny you that position. All right? If you guys have any questions, reach out to me. And I hope to hear from you and see you in here. Thank you.